turn off your phone, close the door, put on headphones, get your notebooks out. We are going to write. Why? Because class is back in session. Welcome back to the NaNoWriMo! Wait a second, that's not right. Welcome back to the Virtual Writing Academy. It's been a while, but I'm happy to be back. And for those of you who are new to this, or for those of you who joined me during November and are wondering what the heck is going on, allow me to explain. The Virtual Writing Academy is one of the main staples of my channel, and it was on a bit of a hiatus because of NaNoWriMo, but now we're back. What is the Virtual Writing Academy about? Well, let me tell you. For those of you joining in for the first time, I've been waiting so long to say that again. For those of you joining in for the first time, this is the way class is going to work. I will give you a timed writing exercise. I will shut up and you will write. Once the time is up, you will stop writing and I will start talking again. Simple as that. Once we're done with today's exercise, we'll meet again and talk about our experiences. There is a little hidden lesson behind this exercise, but I will not tell you what it is until the end. Why? Because the point of this class is not to learn by reading or listening. The point of this class is to learn by writing. I should really stop playing with the fan. So, go grab your notebook, open up your writing software of choice. You can minimize this video if you like, I'll tell you when to bring it back up. As for today's musical recommendation, I have something a little odd. Today, I have two musical recommendations for you, depending on how you feel you may be going today. Today we're going to be dealing with a dramatic character change, and I feel it can go in one of two ways. If you think that you're going to be writing something a little bit more somber and dark and more sorrowful than vengeful, I absolutely recommend you check out my writing playlist, After the Bomb. It is set mostly for a sort of post-apocalyptic setting, but it has that really dark ambience of the idea that something terrible just happened, and I think it fits perfectly for today's theme. Aside from that though, if you think you're going to be writing something a little bit more on the vengeful, wrathful side, you know, the idea of a character being pushed too far, I recently watched the movie John Wick, and I would be more than willing to recommend to you the soundtrack for that movie. There will be a link to it in the description below, although of course I entirely recommend you to pick up the soundtrack on iTunes. I walked out of the movie and picked it up myself. That movie, I'll probably make a whole video about it. I really enjoyed it. I love the way that it did world building, and above all, it had an amazing soundtrack. And as someone who believes music is an integral part of their writing process, I absolutely recommend the John Wick soundtrack. Of course, as always, you can find links to all of these things in the description below. And of course, if you would like to listen to your own music, that is entirely fine by me. Otherwise, I recommend you check out my 8tracks page over at 8tracks.com/mkieran for even more writerly playlists made by yours truly. That being said, I'll give you a couple of minutes to get ready. Feel free to pause the video if you like. I'll be here when you're ready to move on, okay? I said go. Go get ready. Open up your writing notebook thingy or your writing software thing, okay? I'll be here when you're ready. Trash Squad. Welcome to the Trash Squad, boys. The 5 trashiest characters in Persona. My babies. I love this game so much. Oh, what? Are you ready? Oh gosh. Alright, in that case, let's dive right in! It's also kinda hot today, so don't mind the fan. Don't mind my fans! I only have one fan. Are you ready? Before we begin, I want to formally remind all of you that you can use your own characters and your own setting for this exercise. Whatever you need to get writing is fine by me. That includes, by the way, using this exercise as a way to push your word count for your current project. So, there you go. No limitations, just stick to the general idea and you'll be fine. With that done and said, let's dive right in. Today's exercise is called Pushed Too Far. You will have 10 minutes to write from the point of view of a character as they witness the most despair-inducing event in their life. The catch? They are powerless to do anything about it. Again, you will have 10 whole minutes to write from the point of view of a character who's witnessing something so despair-inducing that it will change them forever. And worst of all is that there is nothing they can do to stop this. The trick for this exercise comes in two parts. What is the event that is happening to this character and how is it affecting them? We forget sometimes that not all the horrible things in life that can happen to you deal with death and violence. Reputation, relationships, and resources are other things that can affect us greatly and change who we are as a person. What is happening around them? What is this single event that has now changed them forever? And how does this character deal with the fact that they can't do anything about it? How do they deal with the idea of being powerless? The tower is falling, their world is changing, their life has forever been turned into something else. How do they react to this? Enter the mind of this character and show us through their eyes what is it they do as they witness the tower falling, their lives changing forever, and they are unable to do anything about it. Consider this despair-inducing event and write about it, writerly friend. As always, let me give you the first line. Let me get you started. This story begins like this. It's over. Now go, writerly friend, and remember that not all change is bad, but all change that happens leaves behind scars. 60 seconds remaining. Alright, time's up, pencils down, fingers off the keyboard. If you minimize this video, please bring it back up. Let's take a deep breath. On the previous episode, I talked about the idea of secondhand change. The idea that character change doesn't always have to come from the self. It can come from the world around us affecting us, or from witnessing someone else dealing with the same problems we would have dealt in our time. It's the idea of learning from someone else's mistakes, because in life we don't have the time to make all of the mistakes, though no matter how hard we try, we are going to end up facing the wrong end of fate eventually. I recently worked on a card game called The Hand You Have Been Dealt, and it's a card game about making backstories, and while I was assigning it, I came to the realization that the events that shape us as people are not the good things and not the inspiring moments. They are there, but in the background, the things that remind us, the things that stick with us forever, are the scars. The events we witnessed, the people we came in contact with, and the scars we bear on our hearts and on our flesh. Those are the things that change us. And while I was thinking about that, I realized that not all events are the same. There are little things that haunt us, little mistakes that we made, and then there's the entire opposite of that. Just like there are the little mistakes, the little moments when we trip and make mistakes, there are also the big moments. The ones that leave scars so deep that they change us entirely. And I like to call this dramatical change. These are the sort of moments that as a writer, I live for those moments. These are the moments that just feed me. And if you are at all familiar with my videos, you will remember that I love drama in storytelling. And I'm not talking about like he said, she said drama. That's not what I mean. I mean drama in the theatrical sort of sense. Horrible things happening and witnessing a person change. I believe that an element of drama in theater, just like in fiction, because they're ultimately just stories, they share the same similarities in which drama is the moment in which a character is forced to make hard choices, and we get to see through their eyes, to experience secondhand their change. Today's lesson wasn't as much the idea that I want you to learn something, rather instead I wanted you to experience this, to get in the mind of a character facing this situation, being trapped in a moment where their life is falling apart before them, and they can't do anything about it. This is what I like to refer to as the idea of cosmic irony, the awful, horrible things in life that happens that one can't do anything about. And while it may be horrible to witness those in real life firsthand, in fiction, though, they can serve as a moment of reflection, and I think those are the most powerful moments in fiction, and being so powerful and so sparse, we don't often get to experience them. So, I wanted to take a moment to give you an exercise and have you get in that mind frame, have you sit in that seat and watch as a character witnesses the full-on blast of despair. This is of course not because I'm evil or because I gain eternal youth through your tears, which I do, but aside from that, it's the idea that in fiction there are a few elements that are very important. Description is important and so is narration, but they are the character interactions and the character changes which we don't often get to experience because they happen once or twice in a novel. I wanted to give you a little taste of that. I wanted to put you there, force you there, without much background, without much information. Enter the mind of a character facing the most awful change in their lives. The first time I found myself experiencing a moment like this, I found myself having to stop, because I realized that I had been telling stories differently up until that moment. And I realized that not all stories are happy, and that's okay, because the world is not always at all times happy. But the thing that matters the most is to reflect. So, I hope that this exercise has been fun for you, has pushed you beyond your regular boundaries, because every piece of writing trains you in description and narration and dialogue, and those are all the basic pieces, okay? And I wanted to push you beyond that, put you in a different place and a different character and a different mind. And I hope it was helpful, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And if anything, I hope that it gave you a little insight into the inner workings behind dramatical change, behind the tides and the waves that can change your character's life. Because although a single person can change the world, let us not forget that the world is big and large and it can stomp on people. And I think it is that struggle, the one against many, the single against an enormous force, that is the source of drama, and that is maybe one of the biggest subjects that we keep exploring in writing. So, with all of that mumbo jumbo out of the way, I hope that you enjoyed today's exercise. If you did, please, please, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you would like even more videos like this. If you have comments, if you would like to share what you wrote, or if you have ideas for future episodes and future lessons, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you would like even more writing advice, writing positivity, prompts, and everything writer related, head over to my writing blog over at maxkieran.tumblr.com. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it's not too dark of a return to the Virtual Writing Academy. I don't do this because I'm evil, which I am, but I do this because I want to push you, and I want to put you in places that your regular writing may not put you in. Because ultimately, that is the only way you're gonna find yourself as a writer, by going beyond your boundaries. So, with that explanation out of the way, basically me washing my hands off of all the feels that I have probably caused you today, let me just thank you for watching and for spending a little bit of your day with me. Writerly friend, keep going, keep being brave, and keep writing. Mwah!
Welcome to the school year of despair and murder.
That's like my best impression of Monokuma.